So I just returned from 9 days, well, only 7 days in South Africa, but 9 days in total with the travel, from really a very interesting and enlightening De Beers Sightholder Summit. And I just thought that while it's fresh in my mind, it would be good to video a little synopsis and share it with anybody who may be interested to understand what that summit was all about. The summit used to be called the Business Excellence Seminar. De Beers would do this every year, and they would hire outside speakers, and they would give you different insights from different industries, and to try to assimilate that information for what's going on in our industry. But this year, I think they felt it important to keep things more internal. Just to give a little bit of a insight as to some of the things that were spoken about, they told us that they calculated, and we could all calculate ourselves, that in the last 25 years, we've had like 5 major diamond crises and downturns. 9/11 was one major crisis. Then we had the 2008-2009 crisis. Then I believe in 12-13 there was a major China slowdown. Then we had a couple of years of COVID, and that we have now. COVID thankfully wound up reversing itself relatively quickly, and all the rest took a little bit more time. But the point being that they were very clear in not wanting to paint an overly rosy picture. They recognize that things are difficult now, that the market has dropped, the market has slowed down, and there are a few reasons for that as well. Some of the reasons I think centered around China, the slowdown in China. So a lot of companies who sell in China were now unable to use their inventory in China, so there's an oversupply. During COVID, people in 2021-22 bought extremely well. People was spending money that the governments gave them. They had no other opportunities to spend money. So as a result, as we all know, diamonds actually did very well after that initial few months of shock and closed down by COVID. So people were pretty well stocked. And had enough inventory. So now that things are getting a little bit slow, the conventional wisdom is saying that people need to sell through their inventory, which is happening as we speak. The bottom line is De Beers was very clear that they have full confidence in the natural diamond business, and I think there's no denying that. De Beers continues to make multi-billion-dollar investments. That was what was so important about having Duncan there, because it highlighted the points which they made, is that De Beers has the full support of Anglo American. As we know, Anglo American is a very multifaceted corporation, very deep pockets, and they're able to support De Beers's activities or lack thereof at this moment, and they're able to continue to give them the financial support that they need in order to be able to maintain the low levels of activity that they are, in order to strengthen the market. I think we could all agree that just lowering prices would not stimulate demand, and I think that their approach is a good one and a sound one. Something interesting I never knew. They made a point of letting us know that currently it's about 17 years from the time they put a shovel in the ground until a major new mine is actually online. So whatever they're investing now, billions of dollars in trying to discover new large mines, will take 17 years in order to be able to have it fully operational. Yes, they made it a point, of course, not to panic. That's something it's a lot easier said than done, but clearly that is sound advice. They did mention, of course, synthetics, as lab-grown diamonds as being some of the reason why things are also on a downturn. They, like I, do believe that as the prices continue to tumble and as the world and the public begin to realize the true value of synthetic diamonds, that it will be relegated to positions of fashion jewelry, jewelry such as Pandora and Swarovski, notwithstanding the way they're advertising it, which my personal opinion is that they could be doing a better job in not misleading the public, but I digress. So synthetics did have an impact on our business, and I think that retailers who carry them are beginning to transition back away from it right now, because they realize that their place in fine jewelry that may be coming to an end, or at least those who fairly and correctly represent to the receiver of the gift that it is lab-grown diamond. They also announced, to everybody's delight and applause, that Lightbox will be curtailing their activities, and by that what they meant was that it's going to be relegated primarily for research and development and the continuation of detection, which is obviously the most important part of synthetic, lab-grown diamond detection, because without that we could all pack it up. But I'm assured by the laboratories that that's something which is sure to be able to be maintained. And also I believe that they want to continue to have a hand in the business, although not growing it, in order to be able to have some level of influence in the business. So in synopsis, I think that it was really, notwithstanding the long, grueling trip, it was nice being able to be there. I will tell you, there was a thought on their part to cancel it because of the world conditions, because of the terrible effects that it has on many of their clients. There was a noticeable lack of Israelis there. There were a few Israelis, but many Israelis, understandably, did not want to travel, leave their homes. I will say that De Beers did a very appropriate job in calling out the horrific acts of October 7th, and in recognizing the pain of the families, of the De Beers families and the greater families in Israel and in the world. There was a moment of silence at the very beginning of the meeting, which I think people appreciated and obviously thought was very appropriate. So they decided not to cancel the seminar, the summit, but to continue with it. As I said, I think that it was something which is very good to be able to get together as an industry, to speak out our problems, to hear from leadership, which is what I consider De Beers to be clearly one of the leaders in the industry, and encouraging to hear their optimistic view of the future. The conclusion was, and I do firmly share their belief, that natural diamonds will always have been and will continue to be an eternal symbol of love, an eternal symbol of authenticity, of something that people will continue to covet. We are undergoing a bit of a down cycle. However, diamonds are forever, and it's something that I believe we all intuitively believe in ourselves, and essentially that was the takeaway message. And when we all work together to make that diamond dream happen, we will continue to be prosperous and continue to flourish.